My name is Cypher Morrison, and this is This Week in Car Audio. Tune in. This Week in Car Audio. Tune in. We'll be talking about bass, talking about chips, talking about rings. You ain't got them, zip your lip. You got a problem you haven't found, check your grounds. The show about to start. Tune in. This Week in Car Audio. Yeah. Tune in. This Week in Car Audio.
Welcome to This Week in
Just the
Car
Doug Stockton page?
Audio. No, the Sonic FX page. It's your host, Doug Stockton, the judge. With your co-host this week, standing in for Lucky McGovern, is Andrew McCain. And our guest is Kevin Doyle from DD Audio. Welcome, Kevin.
Thank you.
So, for anybody that knows, Andrew's not here. Not Andrew. There we go. I got the share now. I figured it out. The reason Lucky's not here today is he just got back from going to Surf City. If you see that right there behind Kevin, he's got an old banner sitting up right there.
Old school. Was it 2018?
Yeah. So he literally just got back a couple hours ago. So he's like, dude, I just don't have it in me right now to do this. So I said, no problem. And I talked to Andrew McCain. Andrew McCain actually has quite a bit of experience with the DD woofer, to say the least. So I thought, hey, this would be very good. Andrew can talk about World Finals and how he's coming to visit us and hang out with us and all that stuff. So let's get going. I'm going to actually start with the question that we typically end with, but it's still a good question always to kind of get in there. And we didn't cover this in our last one. And just for you people that didn't know, we have it's not showing my live. Okay. Anyway, we had major internet issues last time we had Kevin on, and what happened was I believe a car ran into the unit on my block, and I was getting 0.2 megabytes. I paid for 1 gig, so it is what it is, and we'll get better. But anyway, let's start with the question. This is Lucky's favorite question, and I think it's a good one. Hey, it works. I'm just going to try something real quick because I've never tried this before. Can I post this on there? Oh, nope, it won't let me do it. But now I can see my chat. So Kevin, What is your definition of a bass head?
Oh man, my definition of a bass head. I guess any person. It doesn't matter if you've got 215s, if you've got 1.8, just someone who, one of the key elements that they focus on when they're building the system is it's got to have, it may not be 100% true to the recording, but the bass has to be strong. You have to feel it. It has to be, it has to be literally a moving experience. They want the door panels to vibrate. They want the seat. They want to feel it in the seat. And so they will most often focus their energy, their build energy, on the sub portion of it. And that's, that's in my install days, that's one of the most common, that's the install, right? You get 500 watts in a 12 or a couple of 12s, whatever you're doing. And bam, you do it. And you're like, well, yeah, I'll upgrade the rest of that stuff in a minute, but let's go ahead and get the bass covered.
That's right.
So to me, that's a bass head. That's that person right there.
There you go. That's a good definition. The short and dirty version of mine is realistically anybody who has a drive or a passion to want to build a stereo and gets enjoyment out of the bass and the enjoyment out of either competing with it or sharing it with others, because it's not about just what it is the community aspect of sharing it with others. Anybody that's involved with that, we have a young man that runs around here, Benson. I can't remember. I think Benson's his dad, but he runs around. He comes to all the shows. I mean, the kid's like 9, 10 years old. He knows 90% of the competitors. Dude, he's a bass head. You
Yeah.
know, he goes there to get demos and check everything out.
Yeah,
So
the sharing aspect's huge, like you're talking about. I mean, that's why you see this demo scene that just seems to be growing and growing and growing. You know, almost it seems like as fast as guys who really want to compete, like at a high SPL level, the demos are just becoming huge.
Yep.
And I think that's the sharing thing you're talking about. They want to show off a little bit, they want to share a little bit, but it's just so cool to create and then be like, yeah, hop in here and check this out. Blow people's minds, right?
Absolutely. So as we get going here, I just wanted to tell you guys once again, thank you for tuning in. If you guys would like to share this with every possible group you can. That helps us grow and get bigger and badder with this thing. Also, if you enjoy the content that we bring you and you feel it's worth the price of admission, which is absolutely free on all the streaming podcasts and all that we do, it does cost us a little bit of money to run that, to set everything up. So if you guys would like to, you guys can always share and tip us. The link is down in the description. So we have Venmo and Cash App. It's also right across the top of the screen there. Venmo is at SonicFX, and our Cash App is $SonicFX. Just put tip or podcast or something like that in there, and I share that 100% with Lucky McGovern. So, like I said, there's a lot of things that we have, moving parts and whatnot, that do still cost us money, and if we can help share in the cost, that would be awesome. Now that Andrew's left us, oh, there he goes, he's back. So, Andrew, so you heard our versions of what a bass head is. What do you got, sir? Even though we've got a couple of comments that they really like your backyard.
Oh, they do.
Yes.
I can't see the comments.
Oh.
How do I enable the comments?
You have to. You can only see them on a second device.
Okay. I have a second device.
Oh, okay. And then you have to turn the volume all the way down on the second device.
Okay.
Thank you.
Otherwise, we're going to get something called feedback.
Yes, that weird feedback stuff.
Yeah.
So anyway, so what's your definition of a bass head?
But Doyle likes. But Kevin does like feedback, though.
Oh yeah, it can be used properly in some instances. Just ask many musicians.
That's right. Yeah, Jimi Hendrix, one of the greatest at it, right?
Yes.
So I consider a bass head somebody that's looking for that carnival ride effect. They want the emotion and the feeling to permeate their body, and treble just doesn't cut it. It just doesn't do that. It doesn't give us that sensation. I remember when I went to my first loud event, which happened to be just a grade school dance. And I got to hang out and stand right next to the bass speakers. And in fact, getting right in front of them, to feel the music more and that emotion. And I think that's exactly what a bass head is trying to accomplish. Yep. But I associate it with a carnival ride effect of it's not just hearing the music and hearing it correctly. It's invoking emotion by creating those vibrations, good vibrations.
There you go. Yeah,
and that can be achieved with a little 8, in some tiny environments or something, of course.
So that's. I don't think I know I've never shared this story on the podcast. We've done upwards of 70 something podcasts already, and so this one time when I was, I think I might have been a freshman in high school or something. Might even been a 8th grader, and so this guy had his house speaker. And I was like, dude, I just wanted to feel the bass a little bit. So I stuck a Mylar balloon up against the speaker, and it reverberated through the Mylar balloon, and I could feel it in my chest. I was like, I like that. That was good stuff. So, I mean, I went from that to I had a Trans Am at the time. Or first car I had was a '76 Pontiac Catalina. Holy good lord! I could put my head on the armrest on one side of the car, and my feet wouldn't touch the other. And I'm 5'11". So I literally made a box outside the trunk. It was 4 foot by 4 foot because dimensionally with the lumber it was super easy. 2 foot tall. Loaded it with 415s and slid it in the trunk without having to dismantle anything.
Nice.
It was a 6-person trunk. Is how we used to call it back in the day. And dude, it was yeah. So I mean, that's where I went, and then I got my Trans Am. I put 215s and 212s in it, and I was working on 210s down lower when all my stuff got stolen. So that's when I kind of altered what I was doing. But yeah, I've been doing this stuff a long time, been into it. Andrew. So Andrew had a great thing when we were backstage right before we started. Andrew was mentioning some stuff about doing some world records. Would you mind sharing that with the rest of us, Andrew?
I'm sorry, refresh my memory.
What you were
We
saying
were
about when you were checking the world records back when you were judging about the DD stuff?
Oh, I was helping Yusaki officiate, and they asked me to be in charge of the world records. So they have every organization does things a little different. They they have a world records at world finals, and myself and two other judges. Actually, they're popular judges amongst the DB drag community as well. Robert Collar and
Hey,
Chet Teal.
Robert's watching right now.
Awesome. And the three of us, the three amigos, were officiating world records, and uh, all of the world record attempts were successful, and they were all the contestants were using digital design subs.
There you go. Now, weren't you using DD subs when you were competing with your Super Street 3 to 4? I don't remember what
So
you had.
I started off um, with just about any subs I could get my hands on. I did grab some DD 95 18s,
Hmm.
and this was back in 2008. So Kevin would have to tell us what variation that was because I don't know. But
I believe you had the Z's though, or you had a
no,
proto for the
no,
Z's or something, didn't you?
no, not at that time. Back in 2007, I was working with those 95s, and I was really worried about smoking subs. So I tried to achieve a reliable setup,
Oh,
and then I started off when I actually started competing at finals. I was using T3 audio subs from Jonathan Demuth,
yep.
and then approximately 2000. I'm wanting to say 2010. I finally purchased some DDZ subs,
Okay.
and I had heard wonderful, great things about them, and I was like, they're very expensive, but so are top materials for anything that we look at. And
Hmm.
yeah, I once I went with the digital designs, that really shot my score up quite a bit.
Yep. So Kevin, so tell the people watching like what your role at Digital Designs is currently.
Uh, well, DD's not a huge company, so you never have one role. I am what they've titled business development technician.
Okay.
So I will do anything on a daily basis from develop packaging to work with the engineering team on something to working with the marketing team on something, or I'll go down and do a sales training, or I may have to do something with customer service. So
Or a
it really
podcast or
or a podcast, really the main thing I guess I'm supposed to do is be like in between all the teams, kind of helping customer service and relaying information from service to engineering and relaying information from engineering down to the sales team, and then stuff from the sales team back. So just kind of a conduit for information internally within the company.
And so, are you doing any of the R&D still, or?
Yes, yeah. I work. Like I said, I work directly. I sit. My office is right in between the owner, Jesse Langford, who's the king engineer still, and then our amp tech and our other engineers. I sit right, like I said, right in the same office with all those guys. And a lot of times I'm the with my installation background, and I'm not super duper tech, so I know enough to be dangerous type of technician, but I can say, nah, guys, that's never going to fly, you know. So, and sometimes I miss it, but a lot of times I'm like, the installers they're gonna hate that deal. That's gonna be too hard to put in, or that's too weird, or whatever. Even though DD does some quirky things from time to time, but so yeah, I do still work with engineering team.
Yep. The three greatest words to a R&D guy: TTD, test to destruction. That's always the most fun.
Yep.
You know, because I know you guys have the amplifiers also. Your amplifiers are, I mean, they've been a mainstay, top-notch amplifier here for, I mean, shoot, for quite a while. Now, I don't pay attention to brands much, but back in the day, in 2005, when I closed the doors on my manufacturing company of Sonic FX, at that time, you know, we mentioned this on the last podcast that didn't go out, is my deal is the DD18 was what I was measuring my 18-inch subwoofer against. If I couldn't put it in my car and be louder than the DD18s I had, then I didn't even put them into production. So I was using the DD as my benchmark for whether my subs were good or not. And for people that don't understand or don't know, just because the Sonic FX was louder in my install, that doesn't mean in your install the DD wouldn't have been louder. Drivers could be very specific to the box they're designed. That's why we give the driver TNS parameters to box designers like the TermLab program, so that you can see how that particular sub is going to fit within that particular box. And then on top of that, you throw it in that particular vehicle, and you got so many factors that not one sub could be louder than another, but not necessarily always going to be louder than the other, you know?
So always the sum of the whole, right? I mean, there's so many variables in there.
Okay. So is there anything going on at DD right now, a product or anything that you guys are really proud of that's coming out, or you guys developed recently?
You know, of course we're really proud of all the products, right? Where the newest stuff we're coming out with right now is, it's more entry level stuff. We're really working to get, you know, we're re-envisioning the entry level audio stuff. We just came out though, but that's not to say we're not focusing on the bigger stuff, because just this year we came out with the new M series.
Okay.
We came out with the ZVL, which is a really cool piece of equipment. And then that is an external linking strapping module / balanced RCA, or not balanced, RCA distribution block. But it's so you can do all of you can link up to 5 amplifiers off of one module, and then you can strap 2 pair, and then you can infinitely link the ZVL modules together. So you could control 200 amplifiers with one box. And every one of them would see the exact same RCA voltage in. They see the exact same preamp settings, and then you could control it with a connected bass knob, so you could turn them all up and down at the same time.
So essentially, you set everything to 0 or some number, a relative number, and then you gain match all your amps.
Well, it depends. It depends. If you're using a DDM series, we actually have a ZVL input on that amplifier that bypasses the preamp.
Okay.
And so it just goes straight in. And we've had, are you familiar with Chris Box?
I am not.
Okay, he competes mainly in Midwest SPL.
Okay.
Really big build. He's if I'm not mistaken, he's running 4 of the M8000s, our new 8,000 watt, and he's used to having to do the gain matching and all that. And that's one of the things we wanted to improve is that install experience and the repeatability of the that install, where he was used to gain matching and all of that. And when we talked to him, he said, "No, Chris, all you do, you just plug it in the ZVL input and set your gain on the ZVL box." And he's like, "Nah, he didn't trust it. He plugged it in, set everything, but he said he went back, checked all his outputs. He said, dude, you're right. He said, on 8,000 watt amplifier, they're within 100 watts of each other. He said, I can't get closer than that, on just dialing it in." He said, and I didn't have to do anything. So now, if you're doing, it will work with any brand of amplifier. So those you will have to do what you're talking about. You do have to go in, open everything up, and then do the output matching. But then you'll still have your central control for your crossovers and your level control.
How handy would have that been for you, Andrew, when you were running 8 amps?
I was running 16
16 amps.
4Ks.
That's right.
Yeah, 16 4Ks. I was strapping 2 amps on one per coil.
Yeah.
Back in the day, and then I didn't switch over to 8 amplifiers until DD came out with their Z2B, which is their 15K amps. And I originally, actually in 15, I only ran 4 of them, and part of that was because of cost, and part of it was because DD hardly had any available. And then the very next year in 16, I ran 8. But I was intending on running 8 from the beginning. I just couldn't quite swing the money, and I was testing ultra caps back in 2015, and I didn't know how many I needed, and I started understanding what I call sag voltage, how big of a deal that is. But yeah, the ZVL I think is a very unique piece, and I have to admit to Kevin, I don't entirely understand all of it, but you do open it up, and it sends the same identical signal to each of the amplifiers. Is that kind of correct?
Yeah. Then
does it have a clipping indicator?
It does not. It does not.
Okay.
It will feed from with a DD amplifier. It will feed from, you pick like a main amplifier, and it'll feed clip signal back up the line to the remote control.
Oh, so your like bass knob has a clip light on it?
Yeah. The ones for the M series have a voltage gauge, and then a clip light, and so that can plug into the ZVL, and then from the ZVL plug into the amplifier, and then it can transfer that information back and forth.
Okay. So hey, if you guys are watching right now, remember, like and share this stuff. Smash that like button. That helps us with the logarithm with Facebook and whatnot. So keep smashing it. U.S. Finals. Are you guys not on the DB Drag World Finals this year sponsoring? I thought I saw you guys on there.
No, as far as I know, we are.
I believe you were. That's part of the reason we were putting you on there.
Definitely have sponsorship on the Unified event, and then DB Drag, I believe we're a decal sponsor, something like that.
Yep. Yeah, okay. So you're on the shirt and all the other stuff. Yeah. You're on the flyers and RP is just asking why you don't support or sponsor US finals like they do the Euro finals. And like I said, why doesn't he support the US finals? Once again, I see their stuff. They support the Term Pro and DB Drag as a whole on the website, so you can go right on the website and you see their logo going up and down the sides, and then also they are on the flyer and the t-shirts, and they're also doing part of the decal. So definitely they are still supporting, which is a big deal for us here at This Week in Car Audio, a big deal with us all as a whole in stereo competition. Did you freeze up, Kevin? I did. I lost Kevin. We're going to have to wait for him to come back here. But he froze up like crazy. Let's wait for him to come back on here. But anyway, yeah. So they do support RP. I don't know what they support on the for the Euro finals, but they do support the USA finals absolutely 100% for sure. So that's a big deal to me. I want to help support. Oh, the broadband paused. It should resume shortly. Uh-oh. Oh, there we go. We're back on. So one thing RP just brought up is I've been to European finals for 3 years. The amount of support they do to the competitors is unreal over in Europe. That may just be they have a bigger base over there, and it's my guess is a lot of that has to do also with the reps that throw out their products in Europe.
I'm
Because
actually sorry to interrupt
go
you there,
ahead.
but Digital Designs has been one of the biggest sponsors for USACI for several years. Uh, they don't, they're not exact, like Kevin said earlier, they're a much smaller company. I don't know how many people work there, but I wouldn't say much more than about 30, 35 people work there at Digital Designs. So they are a fairly small company. Um, just like myself, I've got a company of only five. I can't afford, to donate $10,000 like some of these other larger companies can.
Right. And even when
So,
you donate $300 or whatever,
right,
you can't afford to donate $300 to 10 different organizations, right?
right.
So,
And $300 donation for one company might be a proportionally way more
yep,
than $30,000 from another company.
yep. And to be honest, you got, out where you live, $300. That's like over half a week's salary for one of your guys. That works for you.
Possibly so. Yeah.
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 So, being
Well,
in New
thankfully, I
Mexico.
pay my guys a little better than that. But yeah, I know what you mean, though.
So,
Money is certainly not as it's yeah. There's
yeah,
less money in New Mexico.
we're not all URP, just saying. But no, I live in California and I would make a really good living if I was anywhere else in the country. But obviously, I don't live anywhere else. So the dollar that I do make, it gets sucked up by the local government and by my housing cost. Um, my house anywhere else, would be, three, $400,000. Let's get him back in here. Where's he at? There he is. He's coming back in, and switch us back to the 3. There he is. Turn sideways, sir. There
All
we go.
right. See if my second device will stand up. I don't know what's going on.
I
This
don't
one's
know
about to
either.
die, so we'll see. Goodness gracious, a plague, man. Technical.
No, we talked about some of the stuff. We RP was wondering why you have so much more support in Europe. I posited the theory that it's really based on the reps that you guys have that sell the sell in Europe, and they are the biggest supporters and whatnot, and they're the ones actually doing the supporting in Europe versus in the United States. It's more the manufacturer doing the supporting.
Yeah, in Europe, it is a lot of our distributor over there. One of our largest distributors is based in Finland, and they do support the Euro finals quite a bit. But I mean, I guess I don't know if by support he means the booth presence, or I'm not sure exactly.
He's talking about soft parts mostly, so that would make more sense too. Because you said your soft parts, they're one of your biggest distributors. So, but like I said,
And
I don't
so,
have
and
it
if
on.
and if it's also supporting the competitors, that is also up to the distributor
Right.
in the area. So
Yep. But one of the other things we brought up is, DD's a small company. Andrew brought up, he's a small company. He's only 5 people for his company, and you know, for him to sponsor one event, that costly. But to sponsor every Midwest SPL, ISS SPL, whatever it is, I don't know all the brands,
Yeah,
but then you got
there's
Unified,
a lot. Believe me.
right? And I guarantee each one of them hit you up and ask for sponsorship, and your dollars can only go so far to
Yep.
sponsoring those things, and I understand that. Yes,
I
sir.
wanted to address a question that RP had on the
Okay.
page. He says, "You let them buy soft parts. We can't buy soft parts in the USA." And this is not, I don't consider myself a brand nut hugger. I want to make that really clear. I talk about, I talk to customers and clients all the time. I've been in retail electronics for over 30 years,
You're a
and I talk.
Fosgate nut hugger.
Yeah, there's a. I tell people there's a lot of good brands. There's
Yes.
Ford, Chevy, Dodge. There's Nike, Reebok, Adidas, and that flows out of my mouth so fluid because that's the way I feel. That's the way I talk to my clients. There's a lot of wonderful, very good quality brands out there.
Hmm.
But something I wanted to address, RP's talking about we can't buy soft parts in the US. Digital Designs, a lot of people started buying their soft parts and making, quote, other brands of product with DD soft parts. Now, we know that, uh, I, when a chef is putting something together, they're getting they're not exact, they're getting materials from similar vendors, but Digital Designs didn't want they didn't want to be a soft parts retailer. They are an end product. uh, they're they're an end product dealer, so
Right.
they just didn't want to be in the soft parts business. They do sell recones, and they're supporting clients that have a DD sub and they want to get it repaired. But no, if you want to build your own sub out of from scratch, whether it be a Frankenstein or something that you're putting together yourself, Digital Designs told me years and years ago they don't want to be that. That's not who they are. Um, so I'm not sticking. Please don't take this as me sticking up for DD or any other brand.
Right.
Um, I'm just stating what the facts as I know them. And I wanted to answer that question as opposed to Kevin because I don't want it to come across as like, this is an answer strictly to RP. It's yeah.
Okay. No, not saying anything negative about RP, but there aren't a lot of people that test as much as RP, him,
Right.
Alan Dante.
Mm-hmm.
These guys do a lot of testing, and RP is, if not directly, indirectly responsible for many world records currently, and also, he's also responsible for either helping or probably, I don't know. I bet you at least 10 of the cars going to the Eastern World Finals for World DB Drag. So uh, the guy is absolutely on top of what he knows, and he tests. He goes live all the time doing his testing. So I absolutely um, can't. I'm not talking bad about him, but he definitely is. He's not talking from a place of ignorance at all. He's
Correct.
No, he's
No.
not.
Correct.
No, yeah.
and same with
And
you, Kevin, right? I mean, you're when you're testing this stuff and whatnot, you find other things that work, but may never make it to the market, right?
so
Andrew-
again, Didi just doesn't want to be a soft parts dealer.
Yeah.
I think that's the answer
Yeah.
that's most relevant to RP.
Oh yeah, because So looking at his responses, like why don't let competitors test with other soft parts for results, and I think that's what you're saying, Andrew. Is you're not going to send them just a cone and a surround. You're going to send
Correct.
them a recone pack.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that way, because you aren't a soft parts dealer, you are a manufacturer. Whoa.
Yeah.
Andrew,
Yep.
You
God,
messed
we
me
lose
up
Andrew
here.
now.
No, he's back.
Okay, but
But
yeah, Andrew put it pretty well.
Yeah, I now that I see what the question is more, I have a better understanding of what he was asking, and I think Andrew was right on point with that. Um, wow, Andrew's all crooked and stuff. You're muted, Andrew, and crooked. Let's see here if I can ask to unmute.
Okay.
There you go.
I unmuted.
Yeah, you're back.
I think what RP, from the point that RP is really trying to make is, DD has an amazing motor. They make some parts that DD has are flat out amazing, so they want to take the best that DD has and the best that other companies offer and try and put them together. And RP, technically, when you've got a high level competitor like RP, he's a chef, and he's trying to get the very best ingredients he possibly can. He's same thing with Alan Dante and many other competitors. Robert Collar is another top competitor. They're trying to get all the best parts that they possibly can. And it's not a nut hugging brand. It's not about that. It's about, I want the very best raw materials I possibly can. Same thing with any competitor.
Yep.
Doesn't matter who you're talking about.
Yeah, no, and that's very similar to what you're saying. Is like Alan Dante. He said he's absolutely 100% trying to design a driver through B2, I believe, is what he uses. But he's trying to design a driver that's, like we talked about, specific to his box in his vehicle, and that may mean a whole bunch of different parts from different locations to make it work. Definitely the motor and the baskets are going to come, probably the cones are going to come from B2, and then he's going to change it, add some mass and whatnot to get the FS more advantageous to his build, which is something way high level. I just want to put this right here. So he says, Kevin Doyle, I mean no disrespect. I'm just asking him why not help the competitors. Don't invest money in U.S. finals, but help us bring the records back to the U.S.
No offense taken. RP and I, we've talked about this before. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I'm definitely familiar with him. Like you said, he's a chef. That's a great way to put it. I mean, and some of the recipes turned out really great, as you attested to.
Yes.
So like I said, no offense taken.
I'm a sound chef. That's what I do for a living. And Digital Designs happens to have some wonderful ingredients that I use to put together good sound systems, but that doesn't mean that there aren't other good ones. That's just a brand that I happen to prefer. And you're going to find different chefs across the world that have different ingredients that they prefer.
So RP says he's just trolling. Man, I thought it was Hank Beach over there for a minute. So
no, I don't think he can.
He's not that level yet.
Not yet, and I don't think he's making an effort to be quite that level.
No, yeah, no. But either way, he's speaking from a position of knowledge. So we absolutely. We try not to hide from anything here. You guys ask questions. We're willing to share them. We ask before we come on the show, is there anything you want us to not discuss? Whatever. I don't believe we've had a guest on here that said, yeah, let's not talk about something. So, all of our guests have been pretty wide open and very, very open about what they have and, answering questions. Nick Semino says he misses you, Andrew. Tell him if he comes on over here to Sacramento in a couple weeks, he can come see you, hang out with us, Gary Killian, have a barbecue.
That's exactly right. I'm going to be going to the West Coast Finals to socialize and hang out, and maybe grab me some Killian Heine or hugs or something or another.
Yeah, he'll be. I don't know if he's bringing any of his apple pie moonshine. I don't know if you've ever had any of his moonshine, but
I have.
Gary
I
makes
have.
some apple pie moonshine. That's like probably his most popular one he makes. Um, yeah, I see Kevin's eyes light up there a little bit. You a
Yeah.
moonshine fan?
Well, when the time's right,
At World Finals, there's no other time
it's true. It's true.
than World Finals. Definitely, World Finals is one of those times where the Sunday morning roll call is not easy for everybody.
Hmm.
So yeah, no, there's been when we did it in Nashville, and then we did it again in Louisville. The convention center was attached to the hotel, and both those locations, I'm running up the stairs, knocking on people's door. Dude, you got like 6 minutes to get to the lanes.
Oh man, herding cats.
Oh
Cats.
yeah. No, it's and they tear some up. The twins. Have you ever met the twins from um
Canada.
Canada,
You're
Canada?
talking
Yeah,
about Rip Rock? Team Rip
yeah.
Rock?
Team
or-
Rip Rock, the twins.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they've stepped out completely, but yeah, so they used to literally bring a pallet of beer, and it was white labeled. It said beer, and you can't bring it back across the border. So
Yeah.
they have a whole pallet. I mean, and I'm not kidding. It's a pallet. 26 cases or whatever it is. Hey, everybody's got to drink it. Got to have it empty before they head back.
Liquidation.
They were a lot of fun.
Yeah, and the thing is too is that was Canadian beer. That wasn't our week 5.4 or whatever we have out here. I don't drink, so.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Right.
so people get tore up. It says RP's asking, did you want to talk about Craig Butler and is he coming back to the lanes? I heard he was rebuilding.
Man, I talk to Craig pretty often. And I'm not sure. He has been working on some stuff.
Yeah, I heard that.
And I'm not, I'm not 100% sure exactly where it's at, but he stays in touch. We talk a few times a year, and he uses DD for a lot of his personal builds and stuff like that for his kids build and stuff, and for whatever side by side or boat or whatever the heck he's doing at the time. So, and but he is constantly working on the van. And I don't know where he's at, but he's always talking about doing some testing, and it's almost there, right?
Yeah.
So
No, and he's one of those guys, hyper competitive, really cool guy. But when he comes to the lanes, he's coming to win. He's not looking to get second place.
Exactly, and that's he said, man, I can't compete. I can't go to the lanes if I don't have without a doubt that I'm gonna win it. So so like you said, all super competitive.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So we do have a handful. It never ends. RP says it never ends. It seems like I test all day, and you do.
Yeah.
When you're at that level, and now I'm telling anybody that's watching, not that RP's alone at that level, but he's at a different level than 99.9% of the people out there. There is a very small handful of people that are at that level of testing and whatnot. Now, I'm not taking anything away from people that test for base race and top dog and stuff like that, but he is testing a different animal than what you guys are testing. So he's definitely at a upper level. Andrew was there for quite a few years. How many years were you straight world champion for?
From 10 years, 08 to 2018.
Yep, straight in all organizations you competed in, right?
Yes.
And that doesn't just accidentally happen. Now, us Canadians just load our products at finals. Testing is overrated. That's what Nick says. Nick says testing's overrated. Like I said, it is what it is. So we do have a handful of dealers like RP that watch this. Tristan and Tiffany out in Barbados, they watch this. What does a dealer do to potentially look at your product line to get pricing and that kind of thing, what would they start with?
And just give us a call. That's about as simple as it is. I mean, you can send the inquiry in, online or whatever, but just give us a call, 9 to 5 Central Standard Time, and we will have a human answer the phone.
Okay. How about the online sales? Where do you guys do online sales type things?
Nowhere.
So that's where I was getting at. Okay,
Do you
so
want to buy? We got
ahead.
headphones. Do you want to buy headphones online or a T-shirt? We got you.
Okay, cool. So, but you protect your dealers, correct?
Yeah, yeah. To a fault, some people tell us.
That's awesome. That there is one thing. I think we discussed it in the last podcast. I didn't get out there, but if you are a dealership and somebody is selling the brand that you sell in your store at the flea market or 2 shops down the road, it really does diminish the credibility of the product, and
Dilute.
it just dilutes it. But the credibility too, right? So, like say brand XY, and they're selling at every single store in town. There's a reason they have to sell at every store, right? Usually the quality isn't the same, and they're just trying to get numbers out the doors. Companies that now DD's not alone in this, but there are, they protect their shops. They don't do online sales. Do you guys have an active online anti-online department at all, or is it just through somebody reporting it and then you go and shut that down?
We did DD dealers are very protective of DD, which is great for us. They're kind of like watchdogs across the country, and a lot of our dealers are on forums and they're everywhere. So it's kind of a takes a village type of deal. Our dealers help out immensely on that. Then as far as just what we see online or whatever, and then our online team is just just the sales people and me, and like I said, we got 3 account managers that work downstairs, and so there's nothing super fancy. It's really just word of mouth and going out on the internet and seeing what's going on. And our dealers are very quick to say, hey, I've got a guy making trouble here. Let's check it out. And we don't mess around with it. We'll shut somebody down. If we've had to unfortunately shut down some really great accounts, great guys, but they decide they want to sell online. And we don't allow our dealers to sell online. It's in shop, brick and mortar sales only. We don't even sell our own brand online. So it is all brick and mortar.
All right. No, that's awesome. Like I said, as a manufacturer, this is, I wouldn't say it's pre-internet, because it was 2000 to 2005 is when I had my company going. So, but it definitely wasn't like the internet is now, obviously. And I was holding to that. You had to have no dealers, and I had a dealer locator on my website, and you had to have no dealers within 150 miles. And then you can email me, and almost every time I would call the person personally because I didn't want pricing getting out and whatnot. And to be honest with you, I would charge somebody full retail. But they couldn't have a dealer within 150 miles. Now
we will do that if you don't have a dealer like that in about 100-mile radius, where you're gonna have to drive a ways. We will sell directly to you, but it is 100% retail. So we're not going to make somebody do without, if they live 3 hours away from the nearest dealer. But so that's as much direct selling as we do. We've been told many times that we could be way wealthier if we would just sell online. We're like, yeah. That's all right. We've got a business model. We're sticking to it.
I love that. Andrew, do you want to answer Mr. Rob Collar's question for you?
I will be at California for finals. Absolutely. I bought my plane ticket a couple of weeks ago, and I'm not only planning on doing finals, but I'm hopefully going to do some scuba diving. But I just heard this morning that Unfortunately, California had an oil spill, so I'm not sure if that's going to
Uh,
affect my scuba diving or not.
oh, dude, that was
But
Huntington Beach.
okay, yeah, that was right in that LA
That
area.
yes, that's
Hmm.
just south of LA, so that's not bueno for Catalina diving. They did get some stuff out there right away, so they do
Hmm.
have the buoys out. They have the Zorb stuff out. They capped it. It didn't leak. It only leaked for a little while, so they did get it capped. But it is an issue. So
I think we've got some breaking news here.
what's that?
Rob Collar has just said that he's going to be seeing us at
No.
finals in California.
So yesterday it was announced. You can go right onto the
Oh,
website and look and see who's going to both venues. It says
awesome!
if you find their name, it says both. So
Wow,
it tells you what class they're going to compete in and what venue they're going to. So,
wow.
um, California, we did okay this year. Uh, is asking about sponsorship not a good thing? Uh, do you want to take that one, Kevin, or do you want me to handle, or how you want to answer that one? That's from Nick Semino.
Okay. No, there's nothing bad about asking for sponsorship. We are pretty choosy on who we sponsor, and a
Okay.
lot of the times we work with our dealers
Yep.
first, and other people second. And but there are a few people we work with, um, but it's got to be a good working relationship as well. So usually there's marketing objectives that have to
Yes.
be met, and that kind of thing. We definitely don't just toss product out there and hopes. We're pretty stingy when it comes to sponsorships.
Yep.
So, and like I said, we generally work more with our dealers than we do with people outside of that like that realm, I guess.
Um, so I will say,
You
if
know, I think that could be said for.
go ahead, Andrew.
I was saying, I think that could be said for any company or organization. You know, when you talk about Nike, how many different football players do they sponsor? How many different baseball players do they sponsor? You know,
Hmm.
and the same thing with Digital Designs or Sundown or Rockford Fosgate or Alpine or Pioneer or Kenwood. You know,
Yep.
how many different and then now if we throw all those others out the window, focusing on car stereo manufacturers, how many car stereo manufacturers are sponsoring and paying for competitors' toys?
Right.
Not very many. Not very many. You
Right.
know, there's a lot less money in the industry than most people would realize.
Yes. Um, so I will say, if you guys ever do approach a manufacturer about being a sponsor, the number one thing you gotta tell them is what you have to offer them. The last thing you want to they want to read is what you want from them. What do you have to give them? They
Hmm.
obviously know what you want. You want product, and the only way they can afford to give product if financially there's a reason to give you the product. So you have to show your value to these manufacturers and
Absolutely.
and prove that there's a true value to you having their product. So,
It's a relationship.
um, so RP asked me why can sponsorships not just be about the support, not free product, but how can they help us? And no, we don't need them; they need us. So that is correct. I would say what RP is saying is correct. Um, at the same time, it is a symbiotic relationship. I don't think it's they don't need us or we don't need them. They only need us. I think it's symbiotic. We have to grow the sport as a whole. If we aren't growing the sport, then it tends to die and it falls off. And the way it grows is by partially them sponsoring some of us, getting the guys out there and showing off extreme end, because whether you like it or not, even though RP is building a extreme car, his super street no wall car, his freaking street stock 1K, that's an extreme vehicle in most people's eyes. And without us showing the world the extreme ends of what this car audio can do, and it also gives the manufacturers an opportunity to say, hey, it what we got to work in our shop isn't going to work in the real world. Because look here, we put this in a 500-watt car, and he blows us up every third run. So, like I said, so it's something we can help them with, and in return, they help us out. So, and like I said, in my opinion, it's more symbiotic than they have to work with us, which is the results I hear from a lot of competitors. Well, I do this and I do that. They should be, kissing my feet, basically. That one competitor is so far and few between that DD needs to be like, we have to have our product in that vehicle. That is such a small number of people. There might be one, there might be two. It's Michael Jordan in the basketball shoes, right? Anybody else wearing the Nikes back in the 90s didn't mean a damn thing. But Michael Jordan wore Nikes, and that made their brand, right?
Yeah, you're right. It does need to be a symbiotic. We need each other. So, I mean, you can't really. You put it. Once again, you put it pretty well.
Okay. I like, these are questions that I've had as a manufacturer, then again as a judge, and I've also approached. So I've been on three ends of this, right? So I feel I have a fair bit of knowledge to respond to a lot of this stuff. That's part of the reason I'm doing the podcast. Not everybody has the level of knowledge that I or Andrew or you'd have. To share this information, and the more we share, the better we're going to be as a whole. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
So
Nick is actually asking, do you have a better chance of getting sponsored if you've won world championships? And my reply is I would believe so.
Yep.
I mean, you're bringing notoriety to the brand,
and attendance,
no matter what brand it is. Yeah, you're every single time that you go to a car stereo event, this is the brand I'm using. This is a good brand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wearing their swag,
Yep. Handing out their swag.
Yes. Handing out their swag. And that's honestly probably a good spot to start with as a competitor. Remember, you need to approach these manufacturers as, how can I help you? And then you help me. So, hey, call up DD, say, hey, let's start small here. Can I hand out lanyards at every show I go to? I go to 22 shows a year. Here's the list of shows I'm attending, and then you start getting in, and then maybe you're getting, top end dealer pricing eventually, but it's definitely, that's one good way you can start. Am I wrong there, Kevin?
Definitely never hurts to, if you want to get in the sponsorship game, to start building that brand, building your social media presence, because if you say, hey, I think I'm really going to help you out, because it's about marketing, more sponsoring somebody. It is about passion, for the sport and helping, but it is also about marketing. I mean,
right.
That's,
this is a business.
Yeah, it is. So that's one of the things I look for. If somebody says, hey, I'm Joe Schmo, I'm building this comp vehicle, I'd really like to run your equipment. I say, okay, cool. And then I want to see, like you said, what has he done? What, has he been? Is he just now competing? Does he actually know how to build a vehicle? Is it something that my techs are going to be tied to day in, day out? Or is it somebody we can help a little bit? And then also, like I said, what is their social media presence? What kind of reach are they getting? What's their kind of following? And what kind of content are they putting out? Is it somebody I want my company to be associated with, or are they a lunatic? So, just that's kind of stuff to take in consideration when you're wanting to get sponsored. is, like you said, you've got to show some promise that you might be that Michael Jordan.
Right. Yep. No, definitely. I like all those things. We are actually running up on the minute. And I will put in, like I said, RP's coming from a place of knowledge, and I think he's got a lot of good stuff to say. And I even talked to him about coming on the show. Dude, he's so much in the chat, he should be on here anyway.
Co-host.
So he says, hey, he disagrees with you, Kevin. We build our name in the community. It's your job to introduce your products in our vehicles. This is how the top brands are doing it. Why not from DD? I have to say, once again, RP, your shop is not the typical shop. So what you're asking is you're presenting a resume, a reasonable resume right now, and not everybody has that same kind of resume. So that's where it would start. And realistically, in my experience, very rarely is it the manufacturer that reaches out to competitors. It's always a competitor looking for that better thing. And DD's been there. He says DD overlooked his shop already. He used to be a DD dealer. Sometimes, things just don't work out. And that's just how it works sometimes. Sorry it didn't work out.
People have relationships, and it's a two-way street.
Yes.
It's not a one-way street. I don't care if we're talking about a marriage of any relationship. Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a two-way street.
Okay. So he says he's asking for the next shop. So yeah, so like I said, it's a relationship that the next shop will have to foster and put together. Anthony Carranza said he just signed up with DD and it's working out great for him so far. So,
good.
Absolutely want to see that. These manufacturers, they need DB drag stuff because it pushes the envelope. We are the Formula One cars of the car racing world. We're like Formula One for car audio. If it wasn't for DB Drag and these other SPL organizations, we would still be running 1,000-watt amps, 800-watt amps. So we need these organizations, and it pushes the manufacturer. Because there's zero reason in your daily driver to have a 30,000-watt amp, right? Or 4 8,000-watt amps on 2 subs. Oh, Kevin lost his video. There he goes. He's back.
All right, it's about to die. I'm on
okay,
time.
So hey, we're 102 right now. So I just want to say thank you guys. Any last thoughts, Kevin?
No, I mean, I appreciate everything the competitors do, and like you said, they push it, they push the equipment, and it enables us to see how to make things bigger and better and more stable, and make better soft parts and things of that nature. So, like I said, I just appreciate what they do for the industry, and we'll continue to support them.
And then, how do they get in contact with Digital Designs website, emails? What?
ddaudio.com. You can find all the contact information on there. You can phone us 405-239-2800. You can give us a call, and as easy as that. You give us a call or send us an email, and we will get back in touch with you.
Awesome. I really appreciate that. Andrew, any final thoughts?
No specific final thoughts.
Okay.
I know that RP is talking about how he had a tough time. His relationship with DD didn't work. Mm-hmm. And he was talking about how he and this is more dealer based discussions than a typical stereo consumer. But I've been doing this over 34 years now, and he was talking about how Sundown had better margins. I've had the opposite view, uh, and it's really unusual. I don't understand how he's seeing high margins with Sundown, and I'm seeing high margins with DD, and we don't see we're
Yeah.
looking at different pie sheets altogether. Um, but at the end of the day, and Jacob Fuller, by the way,
Mhm.
the owner of Sundown, is awesome.
Yeah, we had him last week.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
sadly I didn't listen, I didn't see it last week, but yeah, he's awesome. He's a great guy, and I have a tremendous amount of respect for him as a not only a business person but a sound engineer.
Oh yeah.
The engineering that he does is awesome. Yeah.
Mhm. So
But I just happen to enjoy my relationship with DD, and I'm sure that RP feels the same way about, there's always those Android and iPhone customers.
yep.
Like I said earlier, Nike, Reebok, Adidas, Ford, Chevy, Dodge. You're going to
Yep.
have people arguing, oh, this is better than that brand.
Yep. So for my final thought of the night here, I just want to say Andrew McCain, or not Andrew, Moses Martinez, or let me go properly. Moses Martinez. He's driving across country starting, I believe, tomorrow. So he's driving from Fresno out to Alabama, going to compete there, turn around, and drive right back to California. And so he's got to hit that whole trip in a less than a 2-week span. So so, hey, Moses, have a nice, safe trip on your way out there, you and Rosie. Remember, if you guys need anything on the way, just hit us up. Everybody, you got a huge group of people that will be willing to help you. He wanted to stop and get some demos on the way, but there's no way in hell. He's literally going to drive straight through between him and his not wife, but Rosie, because they ain't getting married.
His girlfriend.
Yeah, well, no, he said they ain't girlfriend either. Um, but yeah, so they're gonna drive straight through. I'll see you guys Friday night or Friday morning over in, or is it Friday morning? No, Saturday morning. I'll see you guys Saturday morning on the East Coast. I'll be out there to help with the judging in Alabama. Then I'll be back in California doing it the following weekend. Remember, on the East Coast, I believe the barbecue is Friday night, which I will miss. But on the West Coast, we have Gary Killian driving out here, making his custom rubs, all that stuff. I'm just saying, putting this out there. Gary said he's going to put whatever you eat on the East Coast to shame. So if you guys want to come on out to the West Coast. If you're a competitor, the barbecue's at zero cost. There's an additional fee if you are not a competitor at the World Finals and paid for your entry fee. So let's see, I hit the thing. Sponsorship. So if you guys, I don't want to accept sponsorships for the show because I don't ever want to put out the perception that I have favoritism to anybody. So that I would, if DD approached me and asked me, "Hey, we would love to sponsor your program," I wouldn't accept their money, just for the simple fact that I don't want people, even though people that have been doing this understand and know, I can't cheat the mics to help a guy out that's running DD. All I can do is say, "Oh yeah, his car's legal," and it's not. But you guys that know me, you'll know I'm strictly by the book. I'm by what I see is what I call. Sometimes I do miss stuff. I am human, but if I see it, I'm going to call it. That's how we're going to do the judging. But I don't need the perception out there that, oh, he's sponsored by DD, he's sponsored by DC, he's sponsored by, all these companies. So I would never accept that. So if you guys want to help keep the content up, I would appreciate, Lucky and myself, we share all the money. We split the cost down the middle. And if you want to help us out, you can Venmo or Cash App us. Venmo's at SonicFX and Cash App $SonicFX. Put in podcast or tip, and that money will be shared 100% between Lucky and myself. We will share it all the way. Other than that, we will see you guys on the East Coast for the World Finals in Alabama. That's Muscle Shoals. I will be out there Friday. You guys have a safe trip. Then the following week we'll be back here. I don't know who my guest is going to be next weekend. Hopefully it'll be Wayne Harris talking about what happened and what's coming up next. So, once again, guys, I want to thank you for tuning in this week. We'll tune back in again next Monday at 6 p.m. California time, because that's the only time that matters. And we'll be here every Monday. So send us tips, smash the likes, hit the thumbs up. Let's get the algorithm showing that this is a great podcast and this we can share with others. Other than that, have a good night. Oh, you can catch this on Spotify, iHeart, iTunes, anywhere you get a podcast. If I'm not on that streaming platform, text me, email me, message me, and I will get on it as soon as I possibly can. But you can check this out on all those platforms also. Once again, guys, have a good night, and thank you from myself, Andrew McCain, and Kevin Doyle. Have a safe travels, and we'll see you next week.